All right, guys, so now we're going to get started on the overlay with the list items. We have our toggler all set. So let's go down here and let's say menu wrap, and let's style the menu class itself. So we're going to position this to fixed and set it to top 0, left 0, and set the width to 100%. We want it to go all the way across. We also want it to be 100% up and down. So basically like an overlay. Now, initially we're going to want the visibility to be set to hidden. Okay, but if I do that now, I won't be able to see it to style it. So I'm just going to comment that out for now. We'll come back to it. Let's set the overflow to hidden. And let's display this as flex because we want to center everything. So we'll say display flex and align items to the center and justify content to the center. All right, so if we go ahead and save that, now you can see the list items are in the middle here. All right, so now we want to take care of the menu overlay, which is basically the dark part. Okay, so when we click this dark area right here. So for that, we're going to take menu wrap. Let's say menu wrap, menu, and then it's going to be the direct div. Okay, if you remember, our menu class has 2 divs in it before the UL. So we're targeting that first one, and we're going to set a background, and I'm going to use the primary color. I'm sorry, the overlay color. Okay. Now, if I save that, you'll see that it's only overlaying the menu itself. Now, I'm going to set the width to 200, and I'm going to use viewport widths here, and then height I'm also going to set to 200 viewport widths. Now, the reason for that is I want it to extend pretty far. So when this is the finished one, if I click this, it extends. You see how it scales up? It scales up to 200 viewport widths in both the height and the width. So let's see. Now what we want to do, you can see that the stuff has disappeared. So we're going to go ahead and say display flex. And let's align, oops, we want to align items to the center and also justify content to the center. And now it's back. Okay, so we're just recentering everything. Let's see, next thing we want is to add a transition here. And we're going to do transition all 0.4 seconds and ease. Now, what we want to transition is the scale. So we want this to start off with a scale of 0. So let's say transform and then scale. And if we set this to 0 and I save, you'll see it disappears. So scale 0, it's not there. It's scaled down to nothing. And then what we want to happen is when we click this, we want it to scale upwards. So that's what's happening when you see this open. It's scaling up and it's transitioning. However, I can't see anything anymore. So again, I'm going to just comment that out for now, just so we can see this to style it. All right, now let's see. I think that's good for this div. Now the next one, I'm going to just copy this. And let's paste that in and target the next div. So let's see, for this one, we're going to text align center. So we'll save that. Now you can see that these are aligned in the center. We're going to do a max width of, let's do 90 viewport widths. So it wouldn't go beyond 90 viewport widths. And this is inside the dark, inside the part we're scaling. And then the max height, we're going to set to 100 viewport heights. Okay, and we're going to set opacity to 0. All right, now if I save that, it disappears. So again, I'm going to comment this out. Okay, the parts that actually, basically the starting points, nothing shows. So we need to comment all that stuff out for now, and then when we're ready, we'll bring it back in. Now, let's see what else we want to do here. We need to add a transition, and we want to transition the opacity. Now, just to let you know what's going on here, when we click this, you'll see that it scales up, but then you see how that fades in? It doesn't come in with the scale, it fades in afterwards. So that's the div that we're working with right now. So we want to transform the opacity. Let's do 0.4 seconds ease. Okay, so that way it'll just kind of fade in after this div scales in. And then I think we should be good here. So let's go back. And now let's start to style what this looks like here. So let's grab onto the list items. So I'm going to copy this. And let's put this in. And we're just going to use the angle brackets. I know in a lot of these cases we don't need to, like right here, but we'll just use it. And we'll say UL and then LI. And then we're going to remove the bullets. So let's say list style none. Okay, so that gets rid of the bullets. Let's set color to white, even though that's not going to change the link color, but just in case there's a list item that is not a link, and then we can just inherit. We can just do color inherit for the A tag. And we're going to set the font size here. So let's say font size, let's do 1.5 rem. And let's do, actually that should be good. Let's save that. So, oh, we need some padding here. Let's do padding 2 rem. Oh, that's too much. I'm kind of experimenting a little bit from my initial one here, because I used pixels and now I want to use rem. So that looks good. Now the links, we have to take care of those. So let's copy this, and let's say we want to target the A tag, and if we say color inherit and save, they're going to turn white. We also want to do text decoration none and save. All right, now for the hover, I want to use the secondary color, so I'm going to just grab this and let's do :hover, and let's say color var secondary color. All right, so now when I hover over it, we get that secondary color, but I want it to be transition, so I'm going to add to the link a transition of we'll just do color, transition color 0.4 seconds and ease. Okay, so now we get that nice transition. So there's really only a couple things left to do. We need to hide all of this initially, which basically we just need to uncomment the things that we've commented out, and then we need to have an event. Well, it's not technical. Well, I guess it is an event. It's the checked event. When we check this, we want that stuff to show. We want it to scale up. We want that first div to scale up. The second div we want to bring into opacity 1, and we also want to set the visibility from hidden to show. All right, or I'm sorry, visible. So let's uncomment opacity right here. So that's the inner div, and then scale is the outer div, and then visibility, the menu has visibility hidden. So we're going to uncomment all of those and save, and that's going to make it all disappear. So now we want it to come back when we click this. So we're going to add that stuff up here. So first one, let's say show menu. So we're going to say dot menu wrap, And this is all going to happen when the toggler is checked. So we simply want to do toggler checked. Now we want to target the class of menu, and we can't do like dot menu like that because it's not within the toggler, right? And we can't do that. We can't even do plus because it's not directly after. Okay, the hamburger is directly after. So the way that we can target this menu from this checkbox is using the tilde, okay, which I can't remember if I showed you this before, but we can use this to target something that precedes another element. So we want to grab the menu and we want to set that visibility to visible, okay, because remember initially we set it to hidden. So now we're hitting the check thing or the checkbox, and we're setting menu to visibility visible. Now we still can't see it because the inner div is scaled down, right? So we have to add basically another event with this toggler checked. So we're going to grab this, and we want to take that first div and transform scale, and we want to scale to 1. All right, and then let's add a transition duration, and I'm going to use that menu speed. So let's say var -- menu - speed, and let me just make sure I set that. Yeah, I did. All right, so if I save that, okay, so now that opens. Oh, you know what? We didn't make it circular, so we didn't add the border radius where we were supposed to. So we need to go to that first div, and let's add border radius. Unless you want it to be square, but I think it looks cool as a circle. So let's see. That's still not quite right. All right, I'll figure out what's wrong afterwards. Let's add the last one, which is going to, let's see, we'll go back up here. The last one, which is going to bring the items in, right? Because it's set to opacity 0. So we want to target those, which is going to be the inner div, and we want to set opacity to 1 because it's initially set to 0. And let's say transition opacity 0.4 seconds, ease, and let's add a delay. So we'll do 0.4 seconds delay. Okay, so now if we click that, it's almost working, but we have an issue with the circle here. So let me just see what's going on here. All right, guys, so since this is in a flex, the width is being affected. So all we have to do is in this initial div right here, the direct div after menu, is add a property of flex none. So let's put this right here. So if we say flex none and save, and now let's reload the page. So we click this, and now it scales out all the way, and it's not bound into the window here. All right, cool. So let's bring it out. Still looks good. Let's bring it in. Good. I mean, we can still see the circle. And like I said, if you want to extend this, like, you could add a media query and extend this to like 300. Yeah, so now you don't have that effect. But it takes longer. Oh, it doesn't take longer, but does it go fast? It looks like it's going faster. No, it's not. So you could increase that if you don't like the circle, when it's on smaller screens. But I think it's fine. I think it looks cool. All right, so that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little project, and like I said, feel free to use this in future projects. It's a nice little menu, and you could basically attach it to any UI or any website. And like I said, if you want to try and turn this into a full-fledged website using this menu, maybe that could be a little challenge for you. But that's it. I'll see you in the next video.